But I never realized that they don't switch off as much as I thought they would on a Crosby, Stills, Nash Young album. No. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
Missed that one, huh? You missed that one.
Well, I can't hear anything.
Well, I mean, you usually hey after I hey. So, whatever. You messed up. You messed up.
Maybe you lied and you came in late. Oh, you came in late.
I'd never come in late. This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we take a different artist, a different album, and we break it down. We find out all the secrets about it, and we let you guys know about it. And go to Apple Podcasts. Go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. We have a phone number you can call. Leave us a voicemail. Send us a text. That phone number is 503-893-5307. We have a Discord server if you want to join that. Hang out with us. Let us know what you think, how awesome we are. My name is Tyler, and the guy yawning on the other end, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. He's having a blast. So, Jeff, what are we doing today? What album are we doing today?
Deja Vu by the Crosby, Stills, and Nashes. And Young.
And Youngs.
I'll light the fire. You place the flowers in the vase that you bought today. Staring at the fire for hours and hours while I listen to you play your love songs all night long. For me, only for me. Come to me now and rest your head for just 5 minutes. Everything is done. Such a cozy room. The windows are illuminated by the evening sunshine through them. Fiery gems for you, only for you. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. We're a group formed in Los Angeles, California in 1968 by David Crosby, Stephen Stills, and Graham Nash. The group have put out 8 full-length records, 5 live records, 7 comps, and have sold well over 70 million copies worldwide. The album we're doing today is called Deja Vu. It is the group's second album, and it was released March 11th, 1970. It's the first album with Neil Young after he joined the group in 1969. It's their most successful album, selling well over 14 million copies worldwide. Now, Jeff, what is your origin story with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young? What do you got? Go.
I really have no origin story with Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young until recently. At camp, people would sing "Cinnamon Girl" by Neil Young, and a couple other Neil Young songs. But I've never dove into Neil Young's music, aside from 3 songs that I know. And it wasn't until we started collecting, and I listened to. It was "Four-Way Street" by Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and I liked that a lot. And then I listened to "Deja Vu," and then I got into the Crosby, Stills, Nash stuff, which I don't like. If Neil Young's not a part of it, I'm not a fan of it. And then from there, that's when I started getting to Neil Young. And I was fucking blown away by how many Neil Young songs on multiple albums that I know. I cannot fucking believe it. I still cannot believe it. And then you get deeper into Neil Young and just like his lore and all of the things, all of the albums that he's done and the different backing band that he's used. And man, he's just so cool. So if it wasn't for Neil Young, I would not be as involved with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young as I am, which I'm not even really that much. I have two. I have Deja Vu and then 4-Way Street by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. But I've had like 5 of their albums. I don't like them without Neil Young.
Makes sense.
Did you listen to anything besides Deja Vu by Crosby, Stills, Nash Young?
No, I only listened to this one, and then like we did in album rankings, the first solo record from each member.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I just didn't bother because
I will say 4-Way Street.
I'll get into it.
4-Way Street's their live album, and it's fucking good.
Is it? Is it all 4 of them?
Yeah, it's all 4 of them. I think 4-Way Street is better than Deja Vu.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it's a live record. It's not. It's hard to compare that.
Well, I just did. I said it's better, so it's better.
Well, that's stupid.
It's fact.
That's silly boy talk. That's
fact. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so that's your origin story right there.
That's it.
Nothing.
Yep.
Okay, my origin story with this group is the Woodstock DVD or video or movie, I should say. That was the first time I had heard of the group. This is like right after high school when I worked at Tower Records, because I got the DVD when I worked at Tower Records. And and I just they didn't wow me. I didn't care. It wasn't my thing at the time. You know, I was 18, 19 years old, just didn't care. And I never listened to them. I mean, I always knew who they were. I always knew who David Crosby and Neil Young were, but never got into their music until we started collecting. And I think what you got me Deja Vu maybe 6 months ago, and I had zero expectations, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. And then you also gave me a few Neil Young records, or the 3 Neil Young records I have you gave me, and so I threw those on, and I fucking fell in love with them. They're so fucking good. And I will say, I stand by this 100%. After the Gold Rush is better than Deja Vu. The Neil Young record after the Gold Rush is better than this record.
I mean, that's not I also agree. I think that's fair. I think Deja Vu was just groundbreaking kind of for its time, and like a super group coming together of this magnitude blew people's minds. But yeah, after the Gold Rush is better than Deja Vu. Yeah,
it's fucking wild. And they're all really good singers, and they do harmonize really well with one another. They all sound, nothing sounds jumbled, nothing. It just sounds perfect. This is such a good record. It's remarkable that these 4 really ugly guys, sound this good together. It's truly remarkable. So yeah, that's my origin story, and that's kind of my first impression of this record. I was honestly blown away by it. Really, really was blown away. It's a fantastic record. And you agree with me on that as well, right?
Yeah, I think this record is amazing. I love this record.
Yeah. So do you have any stinkers on this one?
No.
Okay, I don't either. Do you have any okay songs?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through your okay songs. What do you got?
I think I got 2, maybe 1. Let's see.
Okay.
1. No, just 1, I guess. Yeah, just 1 okay song.
Which song is that?
Our House, actually.
Okay. The song we just played, the most popular song off of this record.
Yeah.
I don't have any stinkers. I don't have any okay songs. I think every song's a banger. But my 10B is Our House. I think it is the worst song, but it's still really good. So we might as well jump into that.
Yeah, it's fine. This is so like there were. I don't even know where to start, because there was, like you said earlier, there's so much bickering, there was so much whining. So it was rare to get all of them in the studio at the same time to record together. It was just always like splicing shit, and Neil Young even wouldn't even show up to the studio. He would just do it on his own and then send it in, and it's all just so dumb. Mm-hmm. So there's writers and there's singers on each one of these songs, and this one was written by Matt Nash. Written by Nash, or Steve Nash, if you
Steve Nash, yeah,
more popular, or Nash Skateboard. Remember Nash Skateboards?
No, I don't remember Nash Skateboards.
Yeah, Nash Skateboards were like, no, they were like the equivalent of like if you rode a Huffy or a Mongoose in the 90s.
Okay, yeah,
like you were made fun of.
The loser brand, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Nash boards. But yeah, this is Nash, and it's a weird
Nash.
poppy tune. I think it's very Beatles sounding. The harpsichord that is used in there, I think that's dumb.
Yeah,
But overall, it's just it's whatever's.
Agreed. This is like I said, this is my 10B. I also wrote, this is very, very Beatles-esque. It could have easily been something off of, I wouldn't know, not Sgt. Pepper's. I don't know what album this could have been off of, but it does have, it's very Beatles sounding, which makes sense. I mean, Beatles were the biggest band in the world at this time. It's very
Nash is from England, right?
Well, yeah,
or
that
the
also
UK,
makes sense.
somewhere over there. I don't know.
And the song itself it's just very bouncy. It's a little comical at moments. I mean, and it's very simple. It's a very simple song, especially the la 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 part. That's the part that's very Beatles as well. On top of it being so bouncy and kind of upbeat. But otherwise, I mean, the song doesn't really fit on the record, but it's still really good. It's still a really solid song. Lyrically, though, what do you got on this one?
You caught me mid-drink there. Did you know I was taking a drink? Is that why you did that?
That's exactly why I did it.
Fucking guy.
This
It's a telling of a story of how, particularly like how the song actually came about. The whole Joni Mitchell thing and buying a vase and telling the story about the vase. But like ultimately, it's more just a really happy song about, at the time, was a really happy relationship between Joni Mitchell and Steve Nash. Graham Nash. It's just it's a cute little number.
It is.
It's fine.
And to go along with the simplicity of the sound of the song, it tells a very simple day, common day of their lives, of anybody's lives. And I like how the music and lyrics go hand in hand. It's such a basic song. There's nothing deep about this in any way. And that's the genius of it. I think it's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, it's about Joni Mitchell. It's about a day in their life.
Fucking Joni Mitchell.
So that's all I got on Our House. It's not
Okay.
not a deep song. So
Not a deep song.
So let's go with our biggest bangers. What's your 1B? Your one banger?
Helpless. The Neil
Interesting.
Young song, track
Interesting.
4.
Okay. That I will say, Helpless is also my 1B. So there you go. We're all level right now. We're 2 for 2 right now.
It's pretty crazy because it's the 4th track, and the first one we have Stills, and then the second track we have Nash, and then the third one we have Crosby, and then finally we get to Neil Young.
He's the
And it's
newest
just-
member.
The first 3 tracks, though, they're all kind of pretty different in kind of like their own unique way. And you say, okay, cool. I like Carry On. I can hear like this is definitely a Stills song. I get it. After listening to his solo album,
Yeah.
like you can hear his personal nuance to the song. But then you get to like Helpless, and it's so fucking far beyond anything that the 3 other guys did. Like the
I
3
know.
other guys worked so hard to make their individual songs very unique. And then Neil Young comes in with Helpless, and everything's like half-assed, but it's so far beyond iconic and unique to Neil Young than any of the 3 other guys could ever be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's very it's so jarring when you hear it because his voice is so high. And dude, it comes out of nowhere. You just don't expect it. Because all the first 3 songs are great songs. They're really, really great. But this is just, it's so different. I love this song. It's easily the best song.
It's so goddamn good. And I love the little subtle guitar lead parts, and there's other little keyboard noises, piano noises, and the song just builds nicely on itself.
Yeah.
Just
But
constantly building, but never too much.
And it kind of like trudges along, but it trudges like in a very good way. It's a slower jam, so it's just like I can't even try to mimic it, but it just kind of like moves along at a very steady kind of slow pace. But like you said, it does build upon itself. And dude, his vocals are it's not just his vocals, but the way that everybody else harmonizes with his would you call it a falsetto that he sings in? I don't know. But
Yeah.
just everything, they just complement each other so well. It's
Honestly, he's like a
great.
pop punker. Like he's a nasally pop punker of this era. That's like the best way I can describe someone who's never listened to Neil Young. That's like what his voice sounds like.
Yeah, but better, honestly. And in this song specifically, he uses so much vibrato in his voice to where it's almost too much. Like you're almost it's another instance where he's constantly riding the line of being annoying. Like his voice is so high that it's almost annoying, but it's too, his melodies are too good. And the same thing with the vibrato. It's so much of it in the song to where it could almost be annoying, but he just stops it just enough. It's aggravating. Honestly, it's aggravating.
Yeah. I just could not believe like the way this album builds from song 1, 2, and 3, and they're all bangers. They're all top 5 bangers for me. And I think they're all so goddamn good. And you think, okay, Neil Young's coming next. What's he got? And it blows me away. Every fucking time I hear it, I'm like, wow.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. It's
crazy talk. It's
like, on a whole nother level.
It's stupid.
It's just like his After the Gold Rush, man, and Harvest. They're
doing?
Just, those albums are just so good. They're just so much better than this record. But this record is still so good. That just really shows you how great Neil Young is. I can't believe I have not got into Neil Young prior to 6 months ago. I don't get it. He's too good. He's too fucking good. Very rare is it where I can go and listen to the same record twice in a row, like back to back. That just never happens. But it fucking happened to me this week.
Because he's like, how many people do you know say like, oh, who's your favorite artist? Oh, Neil Young, he's my favorite. Like nobody ever says that.
No, but everybody knows he's great.
Yeah, exactly. He's a guy that's been making music for a long fucking time, and it's bizarre because every time I read like anything about Neil Young, it's like, oh, this is his best album. And then he comes out with another one. Oh, this is his best album. And then this is his best album. Like, how many fucking best albums does he have? And it's like all of them are his best album.
Yeah,
they really are.
After this week, I'm probably gonna go and binge every one of his records. I'm gonna listen to everything. I mean, even the new stuff, it might be really good. I don't know. How far into his career have you listened?
To the 80s.
Okay.
Like mid 80s.
And then what? It just got to
call them men ladies. The windows up and the temp goes up to the mid 80s. Yeah, I just got to the mid 80s, and then I think they did another Crosby, Stills, Nash Young record in the 80s that I bought for $3
as well.
Maybe it was in the 90s. It was called like American Dream or something stupid, and it was fucking trash. It was terrible.
What was wrong with it? Just like the 80s production style, or what?
It was goofy. It was like a clear cut cash grab thing that you could tell nobody wanted to do. Like there was just zero enthusiasm, and this album itself kind of doesn't have a lot of enthusiasm to it already. And so just imagine these guys bickering for the next 15 years and then putting a record together. It's so boring and flat.
Yeah, they so it looks like they put out the 4 of them. Yeah, they put out American Dream in 1988.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. It is not good.
And then the last
$3.
The last one they put out was in '99. It's called Looking Forward.
All 4 of them?
Yeah, all 4 of them. And then they put out a live record in 2008, which they just played Deja Vu in its entirety. But the last studio recording of the 4 of them was 1999. Damn.
But like Neil Young's never like, he has a style, and he's never shied away from that style. And even all the live stuff, because I like his live stuff best. Like Rust Never Sleeps, like the live things he does live in Tuscaloosa with the Stray Gators. Oh, so good.
Such a cool
name. I like his live stuff, and it's not because he's not like jammy like the Grateful Dead are jammy, where it's long instrumentals that are technical and they go places. His stuff is just very basic. It's all just so fucking amateur.
It's because his melodies are so good. Like he is I think he's just a master at vocal melodies. It's remarkable. Like he doesn't overdo it like Freddie Mercury does. He just knows how to capture. I don't even know. I can't even explain it. It really is bizarre. A master at the art. He's a master at the art that I can't explain it. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. Blown away. But anyway, should we play a little bit of Helpless? What do you think?
Yeah, play some Helpless
before we move on, because I assume we're probably going to talk about every song.
I mean, yeah, it's only 10
Because-
songs.
Yeah, there's not a lot, and dude, they're so good. So here's "Helpless" from the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Youngs.
There is a town in North Ontario, whose dream, comfort, memory to spare. And in my mind, I still need a place to go. All my changes were there. Blue, blue windows behind the stars. Yellow moon on the right. Big birds flying across the sky. Throwing shadows on our eyes. Leave us helpless, helpless, helpless. Baby, hear me now. The chains are lost.
There you go, "Helpless" from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Man, when the other three come in, oh my God, they compliment him so well. I love it so much.
It's
What a song.
it's so weird because they're all like none of their voices are uniquely iconic on their own,
Yeah.
and they're all pretty run of the mill voices. They're great singers. They sound fantastic together. They sound phenomenal. It's just I don't know
They're not
behind
unique enough.
behind Neil Young is just it's unmatched. Like Neil Young is not a guy that should be buried in a harm ever. He's a guy
But
that
he-
always should be in front.
But he is great harmonizing too.
He
He can
is.
harmonize so well. He can pull it off just as good lead as well as, backup. Dude, he can cover every front. He's fucking great. So what do you got?
He really is. He's like the perfect musician, and he can rip it up on the guitar. But he's not.
Yeah.
He's not like insanely good. How like Billy Joel blew everybody's minds when the first time anybody would listen to Billy Joel rip it up. Neil Young is he's just good enough to be able to jam with damn near anybody, but he's
Yeah.
no like rock god. But he's just really really good at everything.
Yeah, he really is. He's fantastic. I mean, and then when reading about the history of this group, he joined the group because they needed a keyboard player.
Yeah.
And was Steven Stills and Neil Young were in Buffalo Springfield together. And after that group broke up, or the band broke up, that's when Steven started the group with the other two, and then then they needed a keyboardist or piano player, and they got Neil Young, and then Neil Young came in and fucking ripped it up with everything else he played, not just the keys. He played guitar, and he fucking has the best vocals in the group.
Yeah. So I think even
Oh,
just
man.
just piggybacking off of that. I mean, I everybody knows who Buffalo Springfield is. Everybody knows that's not what's that. It's like everybody knows the biggest song
Yeah.
that they did. Everybody knows who the Birds are.
Yeah.
But like I never knew that it was the guys from Crosby, Stills, Nash were pulled from these groups.
I didn't know that either.
And I've
I
never
had no
heard-
idea until this week.
And I've never heard of the Hollies. That was Graham Nash's band. I've never heard of the Hollies till
Yeah,
this.
never heard of them either.
Essentially, we started collecting, but I never knew they were pulled from like other groups to form a super group. But the groups they came from are fucking highly influential bands.
Yeah.
They weren't
Yeah.
just
Especially
besides the Hollies,
Birds.
but yeah, like the Birds. My God, dude, the Birds, and then Buffalo Springfield too. Like early psychedelic stuff in the mid to late '60s, just crazy popular stuff. And then
Neil,
they're all
Neil Young
from
played
different.
guitar in there, right? He
Yeah,
played guitar in the band as well, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
like
what I
they're all
thought.
like Neil Young's Canadian, Graham Nash is from the UK, and I think Stills is from like East Coast, and then who's the other guy? Crosby
Crosby's
is like
from-
Texas or some shit.
Oh, is he? I thought he was San Francisco. Maybe I guess I'm wrong.
But they're all from like different areas, and just how they all came about, and like the whole thing of like Crosby or Neil Young and Stills singing each other in traffic in L.A. and then him turning around in the hearse, and there's just so much lore with these guys, and I think
Yeah.
their infamy is bigger than like their band, just because everybody. I mean, maybe not everybody doesn't know, but because I didn't know how much bickering there was until this week, really. And
fucking 5-year-olds.
yeah.
10-year-olds. They're fucking 10-year-olds. Like, grown-ass fucking men. I mean, you either get along or you don't. I mean, what? Like, it just seems like bickering just for the sake of bickering and fighting. And then it seems like they're always going behind each other's backs, playing on each other's records. And then they'll get back together for a tour, but then they'll almost cut the tour short because they're fighting. It's like, you never, like, if you guys really hated each other, you never learn your lessons. Do you never grow up? Like, I don't get it. Fucking 50 years later, they're still doing this shit.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's,
what was it, Neil?
that's how stupid like the music industry was and how petty it was. Because David Crosby, who was in the Byrds, maybe
Well, he was fired from the Burns.
because
he
he
was fired from the
played
band.
with Buffalo Springfield. He like was jamming with Buffalo Springfield on stage, and they're like, yeah, we're battling bands. We're vying for record sales with Buffalo Springfield. You shouldn't have done that. You're out of the band, and like that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
This is not battle of the bands in high school. That's silly talk. That's crazy. That's insanity.
And then what was it? Nash didn't want Neil Young to join the band because he didn't know him well enough or something. It was something. It was kind of petty, you know. It was just like, we need a keyboardist. Let's find somebody. And Steven Still says Neil Young can do it. I played with him. We got along. And then Nash was like, no, I don't know. No, blah, 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 blah. Like being all fussy about it. It's like, dude, like what do you expect? You know, you expect every single person in this band to know everybody. You're from fucking England. How many people are you going to know here in the States? Fuck that guy.
And as far as like my top people are concerned, like I said, like who I think is the best guitarist, songwriter, singer. Nash is not top anything. He's the
No, he
weakest
doesn't.
member of the group easily.
Except maybe looks. He probably is the best looking.
Yeah,
of
he's the least
four.
ugly of all of them.
Yeah, he's the least ugly. Yes, he's the least ugly. I mean, let's talk. Okay, so David Crosby, obviously. I mean, come on, the ugliest. of them
Yeah,
all.
that's by choice though. Like David Crosby's the ugliest by choice. Neil Young's the ugliest just based off of what God gave him. And that's a big
Steven
difference.
Stills, yeah.
And
he's a forgettable looking.
Dude, Steven Stills just looks like every like dad at a Pee Wee football game that's wearing the jersey of the team that just is probably still hungover, maybe drinking a little bit. Like this is what he looks like. It's terrible.
All right, so what do we have lyrically on "Helpless"? We haven't even touched upon that.
Yeah, this is so like Neil's got some like upbringing issues, right? Like his
Yeah.
early life. He had polio.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude had polio when he was 6 years old.
Fuck, they moved to
Jesus.
They moved to Florida in hopes that like the warm weather would help him recover faster. But like he had polio, and so he's just he was constantly moving from place to place. His parents kind of divorced, but it wasn't like a good divorce. It was a little ugly because his dad was sleeping around with people, and so I think the song "Helpless" is about like he's talking about a town that he kind of grew up in, and how he feels that the town is safe. Similar to that feeling like you get home from like a long road trip and you walk into your house and you're like, oh, fine, I feel safe, I feel peaceful. But with Neil Young, it's a little bit different because that same place that makes him feel safe and at peace is also home to like the worst parts of his life. And that makes him feel helpless. That makes him feel like he really has no home. He really has no place that he can be truly safe. And I think that makes him feel helpless. And I think it's fucking dope. I love it.
I do too. I think it's the most deep any of the lyrics. It's the most deep. Oh my god, what am I trying to?
Yeah, it's the most
The
deep and
deepest
complex that any of these guys ever get to.
Yeah, on this album at least. I can't say for any other record, but yeah, definitely this record. It's
Yes.
the deepest song. We go from Our Home, which is the silliest song, to the deepest song.
Yeah.
Boy, it really says something right there. Really says something.
It does.
But yeah, I agree with you lyrically. You hit the nail on the head. I got nothing more to add to that. The polio thing surprised me the most. I had no idea he had polio when he was 6.
Fucking polio. He was like one of the last cases of polio too, or something.
He had to have been. Yeah.
Polio.
Shit. Oy.
Who gets polio? What are you doing?
Fucking people. Was it you I was talking to you about the podcast I was listening to? There's only 2 people left in the United States that still use an iron lung because of polio. That shit's fucking wild. Anybody, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but anyone is interested in that, go look it up. There's a podcast called Radio Diaries. Great podcast. They're like 15, 20 minutes long each episode, once a week. Talk about the iron lung. Get into it. It's so interesting. So interesting. Anyway, let's get into the 2B. What do you got for your 2B?
2B is Almost Cut My Hair.
Okay. That's not my 2B. That's not my 2B.
2B, yeah. That's Almost Cut My Hair. That's their third track. That's the Crosby song. And he probably should have cut his hair. He'd probably look a lot better if he didn't have his long hair because he's really gross and ugly.
Well, it's not just his hair. His hair is pretty terrible, but his face, man.
I just think he looks like a slob. If I had to I don't know him at all, but if I had to just peg him as one word, I think slob is something there. That's it.
So do you remember like the I love the 70s, I love the 80s or something? Remember those shows on VH1? Do you remember there was an episode where they were talking about how David Crosby had given his sperm to Melissa Etheridge or something like that? Remember that? To get pregnant?
No.
This is in the 90s. Yeah, this is in the late 90s. And because she needed a sperm donor because she's in a relationship with another woman. And so she got sperm from David Crosby and had a child with his sperm. Or her wife did. Or something weird like that. Something like that. And Michael Ian Black, who was always on those shows, he said something like so mean. He's like, I'm really paraphrasing it, but he's like, yeah, let's find somebody who looks like a walrus, is bald, has bad skin, has
that's
bad
what it
skin,
is.
but has the voice of an angel. And it was like the perfect description of David Crosby. I mean, it's so mean, but damn, it's fucking true. I gotta find that clip.
I 100% can see the walrus.
So I think about it often, and I've thought about it often since I saw that episode of I Love. It must have been I Love the 90s, because that's when that happened. But yeah, dude, Michael Ian Black just nailed it with that description of David Crosby. Perfect. But anyway,
I
continue.
agree.
Sorry,
that's funny. I like
Almost
Michael Ian
cut my
Black
hair.
too. He was funny.
Yeah, he was very funny. I mean, he not in recent years he hasn't been that funny, but overall he's a funny guy.
Yeah,
So what do you got?
Almost Cut My Hair. Very, very different already from the first two. Very, very jamming, psychedelic sounding. I think this is also so basic in its idea. It's childish, but it's also kind of like a rad, I don't know, fuck off and let me do me type vibe to it. The whole cut my hair thing and how it's a little silly now, but like, the song is a low-key protest song and partially outdated, but long hair was seen as like a deliberate act of defiance and it was commonplace of these freaks and misfits of the 60s and 70s, which seems weird, but I guess there's still a big hair thing going on now to this day. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hairs anymore, so I don't pay attention. But I like the song. It's good.
I mean, but come on, hairstyle is always a big thing within whatever scene you're in. You know, the punk scene, the hippie scene, whatever you're into. Hair is always a big.
Well, there's laws being put into place now that you can't discriminate based on hairstyle, and that stems from essentially
but
people
that comes more
people
of like
color who have different hairstyles, just genetically different, are getting treated different because of their hairstyles, but they can't help it. And so now, like Tucson, for instance, and Tempe both have passed laws that you can't discriminate based on hairstyles.
Which is good. I mean, that's a great thing.
Well, it's fucking silly that we even have to pass a law that you can't discriminate based on hairstyles, and it's just like a hairstyle. Like, I don't know.
It's the stupidest thing to judge.
Do we not judge people based on their character anymore?
That's the thing. Have we ever?
Probably not.
Because you always judge somebody, by the first impression, by the way they look. Like you go to a job interview, for the most part, you're gonna dress nice, you're gonna look clean cut for the most part. You're gonna look presentable in a I don't know what kind of way I'm trying to say, but
I honestly,
you know what I mean.
I honestly judge people based off of their hello that they give me after I say hello.
Yeah,
And if
no, I
it's-
agree. That and a
If
handshake.
it's an annoying
Like
hand,
if you, if
no,
you're-
the handshake. I don't know. I hate giving people handshakes. It's so dumb. It's so archaic.
no,
It's awful.
I don't care if it's archaic. The handshake
Stupid.
to me is like it. No, the handshake to me is important.
Because it
I don't
means
care.
nothing. It literally means nothing. Like a guy can give you
Yeah.
a great handshake because he's choked people for his entire life, and some other person who, or
But you also don't want to. You also don't want a limp handshake.
Why? Who
Come on,
cares?
that's just gross. That's just gross. It just feels
yeah, because
gross.
no, that's silly. That's silly boy talk. It's
Nah,
it's an
I don't
archaic,
care.
antiquated
I don't
thing.
care. I
and
stand by
it's,
it.
it's dumb.
It may be, but I don't.
No, it's all about the hello. You give a good hello. That's it. That's all you need to know. If somebody gives a bad hello, they're a douchebag. Fuck them.
Yeah.
They can die.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The hello is important. The initial greetings are very important.
The handshakes.
Whatever.
Fucking God,
Whatever.
those handshakes. Almost cut my hair.
Dude, did you see what Ryan
Oh, God.
just texted
Was it
us
about
in the group chat?
handshakes?
Yeah.
What the hell?
You can hear me talking. Fucking guy. Oh my gosh. All right. So almost cut my hair. Lyrically, I agree with you. It's about, him proving to society that he's an individual. He's standing out from the crowd and he's not part of the status quo. And that's fine and all, but it's also like, I mean, when you're 20 years old, okay, I get it. But at some point you just kind of have to let it go, but whatever. Should we play a little bit of this song?
Yeah.
And then we'll get more into the music a little bit.
Whatever you want to do.
All right. So here is Almost Cut My Hair from, CSNY.
Almost cut my hair. It happened just the other day. It's getting kind of long. I could have said it wasn't my way, but I didn't, and I wonder why. I feel like letting my freak flag fly. Yes, I feel like I owe it to someone. Must be because I had the flu for Christmas. And I'm not
There you go. Almost Cut My Hair from CSNY. I get a lot of, I feel like Jack White took a lot from at least this kind of style of song.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's very, it's because it's very bluesy sounding, but I hear a lot of Jack White in this as well.
And
Which is
his vocal delivery is also like very, very matter of fact, like very aggressively choppy and I don't know. You know what I mean? Jack
Yeah,
does
no,
that
I get
shit
it. I get it.
sometimes.
I totally get it. And it's the guitar playing too. It's the very kind of abrupt, like aggressive sounding blues guitar playing. Blues rock, I should say. It's really good. This is my 6B. Almost Cut My Hair is my 6B.
So
Great
that's
song.
so Neil Young also plays guitar in this, and I think that's Neil Young, like the the noticeable
The
different
dum,
guitar playing.
bing. It's that high part, right? The dum,
Yeah,
bing.
because Neil Young plays that way. He's never like really flashy, and he's always like really choppy when he plays. But
Mhm.
he's just he has a way of just letting notes ring out just long enough, and then the next note he hits will be cut like way short.
I like that. I do like that a lot.
It's weird. I like it.
Yeah. Some greats. And then just the way that not only Neil but also Steven, the way they kind of riff off of each other. And I don't want to say like dueling guitar solos because it's not really dueling, but they complement each other's style so well. I think it's both of them playing side by side, right? Or am I crazy?
Just, I mean, I don't know.
Because I hear two leads. Because I do hear two leads there are parts where there's two lead guitar playing.
Yeah.
Two lead guitar players, and I know Steven Stills is easily the best guitar player in the band, technically speaking.
Yeah.
So I would assume that it's Steven and Neil, battling, because Graham Nash, I just see him as like a rhythm player. And same with Crosby.
Yeah,
I think them being technical at all.
I think Crosby played rhythm on this track, and then like 2 or 3 other ones, whereas most of the leads are coming from Stills, and then Neil Young.
It's good stuff, man.
I don't think Crosby had any lead guitar on any of the albums or any of the songs on the album. But not every song needs like a lead guitar. A handful of these songs are just like almost acoustic jams.
Yeah, and that makes for a good songwriter too. Like, you don't need a guitar solo. You don't need all these intricate guitar leads. Write a song, write to the song, not to your technical abilities necessarily. It's great. It's fantastic stuff.
What is your 2B?
2B.
Or not 2B?
What do we got for my 2B? What the fuck is my 2B? Holy shit. Woodstock.
Okay.
More of an upbeat song. They do a really good job of complementing the guitars and the keys. Like it's not a synth. I guess it's more of an organ, or a synth trying to sound like an organ. It just sounds so good, and I think musically it's more of a jam song, but in a very upbeat way. I think it's probably the most upbeat song on the whole record, outside of the last song. Everybody I Love You. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these two songs are the most upbeat.
So Woodstock has Stills on piano or organ, and it has Neil Young on guitar, and it's a great rocker. All 4 guys play their parts together on this track, and this may be the only song on just the standard album, not like the deluxe edition or whatever. The only song on the album where all 4 of the guys actually played together, and were in the studio together and recorded together and did it together, because most of the time they came in separately, and like I said earlier, Neil Young just phoned it in essentially from his house.
Well, so was Almost Cut My Hair. That was also a full band song too.
Was that one too?
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty positive Almost Cut My Hair was a full band song as well. I'm not sure about Woodstock. I really don't know about Woodstock.
Woodstock definitely was.
Okay.
Because this is one that it's a Joni Mitchell song, and Joni Mitchell taught it to Nash, and then Nash brought it to the group, and God, I don't like her version, and I think her version is fine, but I just based on principle, I don't like it. I don't like what she did, because she wasn't at Woodstock. She wasn't fucking there. She decided not to do it. She says she had conflict issues with scheduling. Bullshit. There's a lot of bands that didn't do Woodstock because they thought it was going to be a shit show, and she was one of them. And whether or not she wants to admit it, that's what happened. And so to capitalize on the growing popularity of Woodstock, she wrote a fucking song called Woodstock. It's super irritating. It pisses me off. So based off of that, I don't like the song that she did. So it's hard to even get around this version. This is my 7B. And it's only so low because it's
Joni Mitchell.
It's because of what she did, but
so you're right. I just double checked, and Woodstock was a song where they all recorded it, or they all played it together and recorded it together.
And it's cool because
one of the few instances.
Because this song also has Hendrix. Hendrix on an earlier version of this dropped a bass line. He was playing bass on this, and he did some like guitar dubs.
He did guitar overdubs too.
Yeah, and it was just like a jam sesh because Stills had played with Hendrix beforehand, because Stills is a great guitar player, the best guitar player in the group, obviously.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And so it's I don't know, but you can hear it on this version, on the studio version. The last couple seconds kicks up and the double times, and it drowns it out instantly. Like that last like 3 seconds. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, dude, I want to hear. Give me more of that right there. And that's what I could hear is just the I don't know, the psychedelic rock sound of the late 60s and early 70s. So there's parts of Woodstock that are there that can go and be fantastic. But as it stands right now, it's 7B, which is still a fucking bang. I love
Okay,
it.
that's fine. I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. I really do. Did Steven Stills ever work on any of Hendrix's records? Like the 4 records that he put out?
He may
3,
he may
4?
have done some like
many?
studio work, and I mean Hendrix has a lot of records because after he died, they started releasing shit with recordings of him
Yeah.
on it. And Hendrix had like essentially 2 different bands, and so he may have done like some work with him before. In the kind of like the same vein as it has how many songs Duane Allman had worked on prior to him becoming like famous with Allman Brothers. It's he was just around.
Yeah.
That could have been Stills too, because Stills is just, God, he's really, really, really good at the guitar.
He is. He's a killer player. I had no idea. I had no idea.
No idea.
that
He
it
looks
was
like a
Steven
dork.
Stills. Like I would have.
Fucking guy.
Yeah.
Crazy talk.
Oh boy. Okay, so let's play a little bit of the song and then we'll jump into the lyrics. Sound
I
good?
guess. I'm talking about later. I don't know.
Okay. Here's a bit of Woodstock from CSNY.
Well, I came upon the child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Tell me, where are you going?" Yes, he told me. Said, "I'm going down to Leicester's farm, gonna join in a rock and roll band. Got to get back to the land," said my soul free. We are stars, we are golden, we are pure carbon, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. Well, then can I wrong beside you? I have come to lose the smile, and I feel myself becoming something turning. And maybe it's the time of year. Yes, and maybe it's the time of man. And I don't know.
There you go, Woodstock from CSNY. Lyrically, though, I mean, it's not too deep of a song. It's just about like their experience of Woodstock, or at
And
least
who
Joni
even
Mitchell's
cares?
version.
Because she wasn't there. It's annoying. They were there. They played Woodstock.
Yeah, no, that's true. They were terrified too when they
Yeah,
played
and
Woodstock.
it's a stupid little thing too, because Neil Young was very adamant about not being filmed. So that video you mentioned earlier, it's like 80% focused on stills, and he's a boring looking dude.
But I mean, do you really want to look at David Crosby?
No, I would. I don't know. Show me the crowd. Fuck. I don't look at any of them.
That's true, man. Ugly man.
Group of uglies.
Obviously, just for people listening, we're obviously not going to be getting into any of the outtakes or the demos or the B-sides or anything. We're just focusing on the main 10 songs. There's too much to talk about on this record. So just throwing that out
Yeah,
there real quick.
there's way too much.
Yeah, just the 10 songs by themselves are a lot. And we're probably missing out on stuff, but who knows? So what's your 3B?
What was my? It was. Oh, it's the 4+20.
Okay, that's a
Dude,
good one.
That's
my 4B.
This is the best still song ever. He has not done a better song than this, and I
would agree with you.
I've
on
listened
that.
to like 4 of his records, and I'm keeping his first one, and then I listened to his second one, and listened to like his 6th one, and then I listened to a live one. The live one's really good because it's half acoustic, half electric, and the electric side is fantastic. But everything else is okay. Besides his first, which I think is great, but if he just shuts his fucking mouth, it's really great. But this is like the best thing he's ever done. And it's the only true solo song on the album. This is the only song that nobody else has their fingers in any shape, any way, shape, or form. It is only one person.
Yeah.
And it's
And
fucking
It's
good.
the shortest song too. It's 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's the shortest song.
Yes, it's crazy short, and it's just great. I love that. I talked about how much I hate his acoustic guitar tone earlier, but I love this one.
But in this, it's good.
This is fucking
in this
fantastic.
song, it's really good. It's very
perfect.
Very good.
It is a perfect sounding acoustic guitar. Very soft picking, but he can still make it very full sounding.
I agree. I totally agree. This is outside of the Helpless. This is another one of the songs that really caught me off guard because it's so stripped down. Very, very stripped down song. And from what I was reading too, like he was gonna put this on his solo record, but then everybody else in the group heard it and they said, "Oh, we should put it on this record." So at first it was never supposed to be on this record.
Yeah, and he wanted other people to layer. He wanted other people to join in and do dubs, and they're like, "Nah, no way. I'm not fucking touching this."
Yeah, thankfully they didn't. Yeah, I mean, it sure would have been great if they did, but this on its own is fantastic.
It's fucking perfect. It is so goddamn good. This would have been my like 1B. It's just come on, like you can't. Helpless is so fucking good.
Yeah, Helpless is way too good.
There's no way.
It's way too damn good. There's not a ton to talk about here. I mean, lyrically, it's at least what I got from this. It's him being in his early to mid 20s, just kind of being really depressed and working a crappy job. He doesn't have a girl, nothing. Like it's the monotony of life, and he just hates it. He hates it all, and he has no purpose in life. And this is him talking about that. But then I was reading as well, like it was talking about, he said in an interview or something like that it's about an old man who started and ended with nothing. But I guess they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. He's just a whiny little kid, and he's just mad that he doesn't have a girlfriend. I mean, realistically.
Yeah,
because he was dating like
That's
Rita
true.
Coolidge at some point too, and then she left him for Nash. And then Nash was dating Joni Mitchell. Like Nash is like he's like the good looking guy of the group, which is not hard to do in a group full of uglies.
Barely.
But
I know. Oh my
so
god.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, should we play a little bit of 4+20?
Whatever you want to do. We got 6 more songs to get to. I don't know. What do you?
We'll play a little bit of it. I'll cut it pretty short, and then we'll move on. So here we go. 420 or 4+20.
24 years ago, I come into this life, the son of a woman and a man who lived in strife. He was tired of being poor, and he wasn't into selling door to door, and he worked like the devil to be more. A different kind of poverty now upsets me so. Night after sleepless night, I walk the floor and
All right, you get the gist of it. I guess it's 4 and 20, not 4+20.
420, Tyler.
420. Yeah, I mean, yeah, smoke a little reefer, huh?
These guys probably, like, for sure, David Crosby. Like, these guys probably smoked more weed than like a lot of like Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? Like these guys smoke so much fucking weed.
But it also weed, from everything I've heard and read, weed back in the 60s was much different than weed in the 90s and especially today. Like it was like trash weed back then. That's what I hear. I don't know. I'm not a big smoker.
I don't doubt it because it just didn't have time to be engineered better.
True. Yeah.
Much like how beer was probably trash beer back then too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All you had was Miller, Buddies, Schlitz.
Yeah. Can you imagine a time where nobody could drink hazies? Like what the fuck? How did people survive?
How did they? I mean, it must have been a miserable life without the hazies.
It's incredible.
Without the stouts. I mean, they had stouts, but yeah, no hazies, no sours. Oof, miserable life. Fucking stupid.
Pathetic. It really is.
I would have thrived drinking all the Budweiser. I would have thrived. But anyway, 4 and 20. Do we have anything else on this one?
Nope, that's it. That's all.
So what do you got for? Oh, my 3. I haven't done my 3B.
What's your 3B?
Because that was your 3B, right? 4 and 20.
Yeah, that was my 3B.
Okay, mine is Deja Vu.
Deja Vu title track.
This one, to me, it's the singing and the harmonizing that gets me. This is just.
You just love all that skit and scatting all over the place in the beginning part.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god, they do it so well, and the way they harmonize with one another is fantastic. And then it like half times, or no, it double. It double times. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? It double times. I was thinking of something different. During the chorus, I guess you could say, but then there's some like great bass playing toward the end of the song, like the last like 45 seconds, almost a minute. Some great bass playing. And we haven't even talked about the other 2 guys who played on this record.
Oh yeah, besides the main 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's essentially 6 guys on this record.
They're the studio guys. Dallas Raines. Dallas Taylor. Dallas
Taylor and then Peter Reeves. Wait.
No, Dallas Raines is the fucking.
Yeah, Dallas Raines is the ABC 7 weather guy.
Which is a fantastic name. And the guy's Greg Reeves.
Greg Reeves. Remember Johnny Mountain? He was the other weather guy.
Dude, what a fantastic fucking name. That's such a cool name.
Johnny Mountain
and
so Dallas Raines. I mean, clearly they're not their real names. Come on.
That is their God names. Those are their Christian names right there.
So cool.
Stuff. It is cool. But yeah.
The song, it's great. What do you got on it?
I like their vocal harms. I think it's rad. It's fast paced and weird. It's quirky. Like they're spitting out super quick, and they're so tight. Like nobody lags. Nobody starts earlier, and it's just. I mean, obviously it's produced and it's take after take, and supposedly, like legend has it, is 800 hours of work was put into this record. So
a lot of it's true.
But like I don't know, just production wise, I think this album is God, it's just so fucking good. Honestly, I think it is like ahead of its time in that kind of Phil Spector wall of sound type of thing. But there's so much vocal harms going into here, but you can hear every single person clearly. Nobody like steps on anybody's toes. Nothing washes anybody else out. You can hear every single person with like crispness. And I listened to this twice, or not just twice, but 2 different times on the vinyl and Spotify, just so I can see whether or not, because I have a good copy on vinyls, and I just want to see if it sounded better on Spotify or whatever. And it doesn't. It really does sound better on the vinyls. I think it's a lot more crisp.
Really?
Yeah, and I think just the parts that are quiet, and especially in this part when they're doing that harm part in the beginning where it's really fast paced.
It's so good.
There's breaks of silence in between some of their words, and in the vinyls, that silence break is very, very clean, crisp sounding.
Yeah, it's so cool too because Crosby's the lead vocals on this. It's cool because there is that pause, but then you have him just singing. But it's not that it's off time. It's just, it's a weirdly, I guess, structured song from a vocal standpoint because there's a lot of emptying, a lot of silence and emptiness where there shouldn't be. But for whatever reason, it works because I feel like you're so kind of overstimulated with those crazy vocal harmonies. Then you get the silence, and then you get Crosby coming just by himself, and then you jump right back into the craziness, and then you have the silence. Like there's this perfect balance of crazy and silence. And
honestly, like the way they deliver the fast vocal parts, and then you're not like a big dead guy yet, which you will be, but you're not a big dead guy yet. But the song "Truckin'" from American Beauty came out after this album and after this song, or after both of the songs did. The song "Truckin'," the way Jerry sings "Truckin'" is like exactly like the way they're delivering that fast vocal harm part. It is like identical, and clearly there is some inspiration that Jerry took from his sessions work with these guys. And it's you can hear it in subsequent Dead albums. Like 2 or 3 albums after 70, you can hear inspiration from this sound.
Okay. I mean, like I said, send me over a list of Dead stuff. I'm much more interested now after this week.
But like the Dead, you gotta. It's not like a list of songs. It's not just a list of bullshit and of stuff that we've done in the past, but it's like Tenacious D would say. But no, like you got it really. It's like an album by album basis.
Okay, all right.
But I will do my homework. I will do my due diligence, and I will send it to you, and you will love it, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, Jeff, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm stupid. The Grateful Dead are so
Well,
great. They're better than
I would
Korn.
never.
I don't know what I've been doing my whole life." That's what you will say.
I would
Straight
never
up.
say that you're right and I'm wrong. I would never say that to you. I've said that to other people, but I would never say that to you. Purely out of. I wouldn't even be spite. It'd just be
I appreciate
truth,
that.
You know.
No, I do.
Yeah, I would just never say that to you.
Consistency.
Would not give you the satisfaction.
But this song also has John Sebastian on harmonica. John Sebastian's a guy from Loving Spoonful, and that's a band that I had never heard of until we started collecting the vinyls. And I got...
And who are they?
So Loving Spoonful are another group from this like the same era of late 60s, early 70s. But what they are kind of cool about is, or what's cool about them, they are cool about...
What they're cool about?
Can they be cool about something?
They could be cool about something.
That's true.
We could all be cool about something.
Like, yeah, don't be a narc, bro. Be cool about it. See,
I'm cool
that
about
makes
it.
sense. So
I'm cool about what you said.
They're a band that made some kind of stupid fucking songs. Like, Do You Believe in Magic? That song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that song's dumb. But they've also made some
a dumb song, but it's
they've also made some really, really quirky stuff. And then the other guy in the Love and Spoonful, his name is like Zal Yansky or some shit like that. I don't fucking know, but
well, that's annoying.
He had a solo album that is super, super folky and just really weird. It's really, really quirky, and I got it early in our collecting, and I fell in love with it. I think it's so great. But Loving Spoonful are fantastic, and John Sebastian does a lot of solo work that is really good, and he plays the harmonica really nice, and I liked it a lot here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean I'm not a harmonica man. At all, really, but no, the amount of harmonica on this record was okay. It was not overdone. It wasn't Bob Dylan, anything annoying like that, but it was just enough.
And I think like the vocal horn part just before the solo is absolutely perfect. It's just such a good way to utilize your voice as an instrument and then kind of slow it out and then bleed into a solo, but it's not a crazy solo because it's also the solo's harmonizing with the harmonica. So just a lot of sounds that are being thrown in the mix. And there's also a lot of like dynamic on this album. There's a lot of louds, there's a lot of softs. And like I mentioned that Graham Nash song where you can hear the ASMR in his lips opening.
Yeah.
Like that's just like you're just turning the mic up at that point. There's no, that's not like a dynamic
Turning
thing.
the mic up, turning the gain up.
That's just stupid. That's dumb. Like that doesn't take any kind of like effort or skill other than just flipping a button or twisting a button.
That's okay.
I guess that's fine, but you're better than that. And this album is better than that. And this album would never do some bullshit trick like that. This album is actually really, really good production wise. And I think it sounds fucking fantastic because some of these guys, like the 420 song, is a quiet song, and it's inherently quiet because it's acoustic, and it sounds like it's quiet. But then you get like the resonance of some of the open notes that he's hitting, that ring out, and they kind of like stay with you a little bit. You can feel them. And when I was playing this album, actually, so like for listeners out there, my drum set is next to my record player. And on really good sounding records, I'll hear like my snare rattle from my actual drum set in my house. I'll hear the snare rattle, the chain, yeah. And this record, it rattled a lot, and I wasn't even playing it that loud. It was just hitting these certain notes that were just really vibrating through the floor, through the carpet, all the way over. And I don't know. That just sounds like a good full sound of something, and I dig.
Well, this is also a pretty bass heavy song. I mean, like I said before, the last 45 seconds or a minute of the song it's like some squirrely bass stuff going on too. There's some really good stuff going on in the song. So
and basing,
I think that added to it.
Basing off of what fucking song is it?
I don't know what song it is.
Carry On. So basing off of Carry On, because Carry On is like a different tuning. It's like a C tuning. So that low string that he's hitting is a C rather than like an E. And I don't know if that's a lower C or a higher C, but if they are tuning down a little bit, then some of these bass parts are going to just be even lower than normal. And I do think that adds to like the dynamic of the record. If they're tuning down to a C, but we're getting like Neil Young's high vocal parts, and even sometimes like Nash can sing in a pretty high register. So if we're getting like low end on the strings, but then high end on the vocals, that middle ground is what we're missing, and that's being filled out by the other guys in the group, by the harmonica, by the lead guitar, and it's just like these are the type of dynamics that groups just don't do well that often. Even big name groups that are just like even Zeppelin sometimes don't do this kind of dynamic that well. It's
I would agree.
Just I mean, given how this record sounds, and then for being like 1970, I think this record sounds fantastic.
Yeah, sonically it's great.
It's unbelievable. It's one of the best sounding records from like the 1970s era that I have ever heard.
I mean, outside of like, some of the Beatles records and Beach Boys, like Pet Sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. So let's play a little bit of Deja Vu, and then I guess we didn't even touch upon the lyrics yet, but the lyrics are kind of silly, right?
It's about deja vu, right? Kind of. I mean,
exactly.
He's just like him smoking weed, and
that.
he's like, "Hey, man, like, what do you think happens after we die? That's pretty fucking crazy, right?"
Well, he said it was inspired by him going on his boat with his friend.
Everything felt so natural.
And then having deja vu. Yeah,
okay.
He had deja vu.
Like, clearly you were smoking. Like, you were
Fucking
high, bro. Come on.
All right, here's the title track, Deja Vu, from CSNY. There you go. Deja Vu from CSNY. Great stuff, man. Great.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, so what is your 4B?
4B, we talked about it, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, no, we have not talked about it, and that's Teach Your Children.
Teach Your Children. Okay, what do you got on this one?
Actually, I have two 4Bs.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
All right. Well, so I fucked up on that one. So I have two 4Bs. One is Teach Your Children, and the other 4B apparently is Country Girl.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, which one do you want to talk about? Well, we could talk about both.
Yeah, we'll just start in alphabetical order. numerical order, I should say, not alphabetical.
Numerical
yeah,
order.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're
there
right.
you go.
I'm right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
I'm always right. You're not right.
I'm always right. I'm always
Yeah, teach your children. Let's get into teach your children because we got Jerry here. We got Jerry coming in.
Jerry.
Yeah. So that twang on the pedal guitar, that's Jerry.
Jerry.
You know, and that's good stuff. That's always fun. I like, and I know you like the idea of the Grateful Dead. I know you do. I know you like just a very lackadaisical approach they have to music. I know you love how just okay they are with just doing whatever, just their fan base, everything about the Grateful Dead. I know you like.
I really have always wanted to get into the Grateful Dead. I really have. I think that whole idea of the group and the music is so cool. But the things I've heard have never wowed me enough to go back and listen. And it sucks. Like I've honestly been really disappointed. Maybe my expectations are too high. I don't know. But I really want to like the damn band.
They're a band you got to put in some time. When you put in some time, at some point it's going to get you and you're going to be like, okay, this is fucking dope. I love this.
I hope so.
Yeah. So yeah, you teach your children. This is that's Jerry there. The song just has a nice, it's got a great swing to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very very easy to get into. It's just a overall nice pop tune.
Well, it's a very country sounding tune too. I mean, not just with the slide guitar, but just I think overall the guitar playing and the structure of the song is very old school country sound.
Yeah,
which is good. It's really good. It's my 7-beat. This is my 7-beat, by the way.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I was very surprised that Jerry was on this record, or he had this much involvement with them, or even the Grateful Dead guys had this much involvement with the group. Pretty cool stuff.
I didn't.
Cool.
I mean, it makes sense. I was surprised also, but then I thought about it. It's okay. It makes sense because, like, dude, Jerry just liked playing guitar with whoever and whenever, wherever they wanted to. He just loved playing, and he'll play with fucking anybody. And he's just one of those guys that could play with anybody, and keep up. Like he's that versatile. He's that versatile, and even the other guys from the Grateful Dead too that helped out on this, and just I don't know the man. San Francisco is such a shit town now. It is such a shit fucking garbage town.
I hate that city so much.
But like if I could go back, if I like Uncle Rico, if I could do it all over again, if I could go back and be in like the late 60s, early 70s era of Frisco, I would just jump at the chance just to watch, just to be around these people that were just so like the same venue that they recorded this album on, Deja Vu, was also like the Grateful Dead recorded a bunch of albums on, was also the same recording studio that CCR recorded most of their albums on, was also like where Jefferson Starship and Airplane recorded their stuff on. Like, my God, like what the fuck is going on?
History. So much fucking history.
Unbelievable. Like this was a powerhouse of a recording studio.
I can't even imagine what it was like back then.
It's just like the overall attitude of recording in this area was just like, yeah, it'll get done when it gets done. Okay. That's cool.
And then when it does get done, it's just, oh my God, it's phenomenal.
Fucking fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal. It's wild, man.
Yeah, teach your children.
Like, thinking about it too right now, how underrated. Yeah, thinking about, I mean, it's a great place to think. But San Francisco, that area, how influential that whole entire area has been for decades, but nobody really talks about it. I mean, you have all this stuff with the hippie era, with the Dead, with obviously all this stuff, CCR, going into like the metal stuff where Metallica came from they kind of came from the Bay Area. And then you get into like the punk scene in the late 80s, with Rancid or Op Ivy, Rancid, Green Day, AFI, so many bands have come from that area, but nobody really talks about it. So many different kinds of bands have come from that area over the decades, but nobody talks about it. It's always LA, New York, that's pretty much it. Maybe Chicago and like the South, for like blues music. But outside of that, nobody, and Seattle too, but nobody talks about San Francisco and the Bay Area.
Seattle.
It's crazy. It's so much has come out of that area, but it's never discussed.
And it's because it's so shit now. Nobody cares anymore. It's a garbage place.
No, but I mean, even just like going, like even like a documentary or nobody references the Bay Area as like a source or like a great place where music once was or came from.
No, you're
regardless
right,
of
though.
how it's been like in the last 15 years, regardless of that, like take that out of the picture.
Mid 60s, like for 30 solid years, mid 60s to like mid 90s is probably like when it started to die out. Like 30 solid years, Frisco was a powerhouse of music, if not like bigger than New York, maybe bigger than like LA.
Yeah.
It was a powerhouse of bands, influential genres, sounds just coming out of it.
Yeah. But seriously though, like Seattle, man, it's like only one thing has really come out of Seattle, genre wise. But the Bay Area, it's everything. Not everything, but a lot of shit.
No, I agree. I mean, like Frisco is not just like music wise too. I mean, we're talking like sports. There's a lot of big things that came out of Frisco, and as in regards to sports and politics and just like societal issues.
Yeah,
like
like
Frisco,
gay rights, everything.
Is a big part of our culture. Well, Willie Mays played for the Giants, and I mean, I don't know. The Frisco, why is it so shitty? I just don't understand.
Man.
That's why
Full House.
I get very upset. Fuck Full. Full is stupid.
That house is iconic though.
Yeah, iconically dumb.
Anyway, back to Teach Your Children.
Teach your children.
Yes. Yeah. What else do we got on this? Should we play it, or what do you think? Get into
yeah,
the
that's all right. We got like 4 other songs we had to get through, so we don't have to play this one.
It's up to you. This is your day. This is your pod.
I did think it was interesting though. This was, I mean, obviously, I think this is about just teaching your kids to be better than you are.
Yeah,
that's a very generational thing. That's nothing new, and like every parent wants their kids to be better, to be smarter, to be more successful, to just be better than they are. But what I thought was interesting was the photo that this was about, that Nash drew inspiration from. The photo was called "Child with Hand Grenade" in Central Park, and it just shows a kid like making a goofy face with a toy hand grenade. Mm-hmm. And then Nash saw the photo and he was like, "Oh, this is such a piece on just the society and war and stuff." Like, dude, it's a fucking kid being goofy. Like, like for me, I saw that picture and I was like, wow, even with all of the bullshit, this kid can still find happiness. Whereas he took it as, wow, this kid is unhappy because of all the bullshit. It's like, no, this kid is happy even in spite of all the bullshit. Yeah. So I thought he took it a very cynical way. Whereas when I saw the picture for the first time this week, I'd never seen the picture before. And that's how I saw it. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. He was very cynical about the picture because I would have thought the same thing. But I would have viewed it more as the innocence of being a child, like him holding the plastic grenade, and him, with his face, him making that face and everything. It shows the innocence of it, but then how quickly things can change with that person, with that child. Like one bad thing happens, or they get drafted, and when they turn 18. So it's like the last innocence mixed with the atrocities of war. So I think it's more of that kind of, this is the last of that innocence. That's kind of the way, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know.
It makes sense. I just feel like seeing a kid with a toy hand grenade. I mean, just children inherently like competition, and children, competition and war are kind of the same thing. Like, we grew up playing Cowboys and Indians. That was the thing that we played. The kids played prior to us. But it wasn't like we didn't want to kill each other. It was just a competition to see who could capture. It was more like a CTF, like capture the flag type of thing.
Yeah.
But we just called ourselves Cowboys and Indians. It was
like cops and robbers. It was the same.
Cops and robbers. It was like, I didn't actually want to arrest anybody. I wanted the competition. I wanted to run around and see if I can get caught. It was about sneaking. It's competition. So like the grenade in the kid's hand is not necessarily like this kid is being conditioned to be a soldier, which he probably is. But ultimately, kids just like competition. Humans like competition. That's what we like to do.
That's why we watch sports. That's why we play sports.
Everything is a competition. A friendly competition, not friendly competition. Humans just like to be better than somebody else because it's fun, because it's rewarding.
They like that sense of confidence. And rewarding is the best way to put it. They like to feel like that they've done something good, something special, something for themselves. You know, it's
So to see a kid with a toy hand grenade and then to automatically think like the worst possible case scenario, I think is just very cynical. And I think this kid had a hand grenade in him because it was a toy that he probably could afford or his parents could afford or something. And it's just, it means nothing other than this kid is finding happiness in the little things in life. Whereas Nash just was like, oh, he's being conditioned to be a soldier. And again,
But
maybe
then-
he is. I don't know.
But then look at the context too, where Nash, you know, he comes from the UK, you know, where he probably was a child during the Blitzkrieg. You know, he was probably there when everything was going down and during World War II, very young. And then he comes to the States and he sees this, and you know, the U.S. just went into they just started the Vietnam War, went to the war, you know, and obviously that was a very unpopular war, and so you can't blame him too much because one of his upbringing and two because of what was going on at the time. So
I don't blame him.
You can't blame him
I just
too
think
much.
I think there are some universals, culturally speaking, that are for everybody. And one is like a child smiling. And there's more pictures than just that picture that this photographer took of this kid. And this kid is now grown, obviously, and he has since come out and said, like, dude, you captured me in like the worst fucking time. Like all the other pictures you took of me were great, but you chose this one as most, you know, as any kind of photographer would do, is you choose one that like looks the most engaging, I guess, for other people. But
it's like manipulation.
Absolutely. And then this kid was manipulated, and this picture, I've never seen this. Have you ever seen this picture? Did you?
I've never seen
Did you
it.
see the picture?
Never seen it until this week.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. It's a fucking picture of a kid playing the park. Who wants to watch? Who
I know.
wants to look at pictures of kids playing in park? That's annoying. Stupid. Fucking dumb. I'm talking about too much. It's so dumb. I don't,
Yeah, I know we've gone on for like 5 minutes about it.
But this stupid fucking.
This
I don't
dumb
want.
picture.
I don't watch my own kids play in the park. Why the fuck would I watch some other kid play in the park? It's stupid.
And I will say lyrically real quick too, kind of what I got from it is a little might be a little bit different, but I got he's teaching young people to let go of their anger and just be like a good person, because it'll just be like a cycle of just destruction. So it's like you have to change the way of society to be more peaceful, and that really goes in line with like the whole hippie thing, which obviously they were kind of a part of. So it's like it's trying to kill the anger in society, or kill the anger in children, and don't teach children to be upset and pissed off and stuff, because that'll just lead to more war.
Yeah.
But it all kind of goes hand in hand with each other.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's all I got on Teach Your Children. Do you have
Teach
anything
your
else?
children. Fuck your couch. No, that's it.
Nothing. All right. So what B was that for you?
4B.
Let's get into your other 4B then.
Yeah, my
Forgot
other
about
4B.
that.
Country girl. I don't know
That's
how I
my
got
9B.
two 4Bs.
That's my 9B.
Fucking weird. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so what do you got on this one?
So like this is a song, right? This is a song. This may be the most complicated song on the album. There's just a lot of moving parts here, a lot of stuff going on. This is written by Young, but it's sung by all of them.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the only song that's sung by all of them.
Yeah, it's true.
Like as not like a harm part, but as a
like a lead. They have leads.
right, like a trading off thing.
Mm-hmm.
And going into this, prior to me listening to this album, months ago when I got on the records, but I never realized that they don't switch off as much as I thought they would on a Crosby, Stills, Nash Young album. No. Crosby, Stills.
The nut.
What was I even trying to say with that one?
These
Crosby,
nuts.
Stills,
You were trying to say Nash.
Nash. Crosby, Stills, Nash
Nut.
Young. They don't trade off lead vocals ever. They're very I don't know. They're very rigid, which makes sense because they're fucking babies. And so the fact that they have one song here where they all throw down is really cool. And this song is very doom and gloom. Like, especially in the early organ parts, it's very heavy-handed. a lot of like minor keys, and it's just like it's just loud and kind of like ominous and weird sounding. I like a lot of the nuance that's going on, a lot of sounds, a lot of layers. But again, nothing ever seems to like drown. Everything is clear, everything is purposeful, everything has its own unique way of shining in the song. And there's so much song. And there's a lot of sound here.
I was going to say too that they do a really good job of mixing the synth with the actual piano. Like on one side, when you listen to a stereo mix of it, on one side is just the piano kind of playing their, I don't even want to say lead, but just playing their part. And then on the other side, the right side or left or whatever side, you get this kind of like almost droning synth. It's not nearly as kind of fast or complex as the piano part, but it's this perfect balance of the two things. And that's something you don't really hear, is the mix of a synth and a piano. It's like a synth and guitar or a piano and guitar, but never those two instruments together. And I thought that was pretty unique. I really dug it. And then on top of that, the guitar playing kind of, goes along with the piano. So it's a really weird song, but it's a, like you said, it's a perfectly balanced song. Nothing drowns out the other. It's just really well done. But it's still my 9B.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This is a song where I think that it builds. I think the song builds better than any other song on the album. It's not like a crescendo type of like climb or build. It's more of an adding just layers to a foundation, an already strong foundation at that. It doesn't try to pretend like it's going somewhere. It's just adding to the already good harm that's happening and just building on that. So it's not like leading you on anywhere. It's just making what it has better.
Okay.
Best way I could describe that.
I could see that.
But as far as like the lyrics part, I think this is completely nonsense, except for like the ending part. I think fell in line with like loving a girl. But other than that, I think this is a completely random string of cool sounding lines.
Yeah, I lyrically, to me, I think this is outside of Our House, I think this is the worst lyrically. It's just him falling in love with a girl, like a waitress, and just all he thinks about is her. It's very basic in like a Beatles, like early Beatles way, where he's just in love with her, and that's all he thinks about, and that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. But that's what I got on this one. It's still a really good song, though. I dig it. Should we play it, or what do you want to do?
We got 15 other songs to talk about.
We got 2 songs left.
We have 3 songs left. We never talked about Carry On, did we not?
Yeah, we haven't talked about Carry On, and we haven't talked about the last song.
We talked about Our House? Oh, yeah, that was the first one we talked about.
Yeah, that was the first song we talked about, yeah. So we got 2 songs left. Okay. So do you want to get into Carry On?
Carry On, Carry On. That's a Goldfinger song. Yeah, Carry On. That's my 5B.
That's my 5B as well.
I love the sound of tapping on the guitar. I dig. Mm-hmm. And this is the one where I think the low string, which would be the low E, but because in the C tuning, I think it rings out hard. It vibrates, it resonates, it sounds fantastic. I think adding an electric guitar for a song like this seems counterintuitive, but because they layer it so well and it's quiet and it's buried in the back and like you can sometimes almost barely even hear it. Perfect amount of electric guitar.
It is, because it's generally a more like folky acoustic jam, but yeah, the lead guitar, it never drowns anything out. It's there to supplement everything else when normally lead guitars don't do that. That's kind of the genius behind this group and this record, at least, is they, like we said, they don't drown each other out, and it's really remarkable. And considering how it seems like everybody in this group has a giant ego,
yeah.
When they made this record, none of that ego ever came out, which is remarkable. It really is. Like the most childish group of men I've seen in music, outside of like Guns N' Roses, maybe. The most childish group of men. It's remarkable that they made this record. They were able to make this record this good.
This was the only time they ever did it either, because the 4-Way Street, that's a live album that they did after this, and like they like physically fought in dressing rooms and shit during like that tour.
Idiots.
Like they fucking hated each other. But like Stills and Young, they were in Buffalo Springfield, and they fought during them too. Like they were.
That's why they broke up. That's why the band broke up.
They were new to fighting. And so then like Stills joins this other group. He's like, oh yeah, I got a guy. You should like let's have him over. And like he knows he's gonna fight with them.
I know it makes no fucking sense. And then like we were talking about before earlier in the episode, after when the 4 guys would take a break from each other, they would make their solo records, but then 2 of the other guys would be on the record. They'd leave one guy out.
Yep.
It's like, dude, how petty are you?
Well, and then don't forget too that they made like a record, and I think it was Stills and Young. The only album by the Stills Young band was supposed to be like everybody, but because Crosby and Nash did something to piss him off, in like post they edited out every single thing that Crosby and Nash had done, and then renamed the band as the Stills Young Band. Like that is fucking petty.
Yeah. And what's crazy about this band is that normally with a band you could blame like 1, maybe 2 people for being idiots, but it's every band member.
Every single one of them.
Every band member, yeah. Without a doubt. Like they all have done the same thing multiple times.
And they've like reunited here and there, like for like Live Aid, they reunited and fought, and then like they put an album out in like '88, and it was shit, and they fought during that. And I haven't listened to the '99 album yet, but I'm sure they were fighting then. It's just like, dude, these are inherent problems that you just don't like working with somebody. You can be friends, but not like working with somebody, and that's fine. Then stop fucking working with that person.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
And then like I said before too, Neil Young and David Crosby did an interview, I think not even a year ago, and they were asked about a reunion. They're like, yeah, we'll do it.
Of course
we'll
they
have
would.
a reunion.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Because they're gluttons for punishment. They really are.
That's seriously yes, exactly. That's exactly what they are. Oy. But anyway, carry on.
Carry on.
Outside of what we already talked about, I really love how this song turns into almost like a psychedelic jam at the bridge. It really takes a huge turn. There's some great keyboard stuff that's being played with the guitar solo at that part. It's really good. And from what I was reading too, this is a song that was written, recorded, and mastered all within 8 hours. So they literally did everything in 8 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
One day. Pretty done.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And it's cool.
And then they had it's 792 hours to record the rest
supposedly.
of it.
I mean, there's a lot of
I don't
who
believe
fucking
that.
knows. And there's no way this took 800 hours. But I don't know. I mean, it was it was produced by all 4 of them. So maybe that 800
all in their
hours.
separate studios.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that 800 hours included like bickering time. Then maybe I could believe it.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, just like the fact that these 4 guys fought so much, but then self-produced this, and it still came out sounding better than most records of like the early 70s it's unreal to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Unreal.
And lyrically on this one, it's from what I was reading, this is like them moving on from their relationship, because the first record they were all in a relationship and had wives or girlfriends or something, and then by the time they started recording this, they had all split from their significant other. So this is like a rebirth of them as individuals, but then reading more about it, it really wasn't, because they all fight with each other. It's like they're all in a relationship with one another. So they're the worst.
Yeah, they fought like a 4-way married couple.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it was either this one or 4-Way Street, but like David Crosby's girlfriend died. Like she got like in a car accident, and died.
Right.
And so there would be times during like the recording session where he's like in his early 20s, and they were in a long-term relationship, and she suddenly died. And so there were times like during the recording, it was during his solo album, but he would just like break down and like fucking cry and just for like hours and just for no reason, just because he wasn't emotionally developed enough to handle something like that. Who is?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's pretty devastating.
Yeah, and so it's I don't know. We forget sometimes that these are people. You know what I mean? Like we rail into some of these guys constantly, but like at this time
But
they
it's
were in
also
their
been-
early 20s.
But it's also been 50 years since this record came out, and they're still
Yeah,
out there.
no, that's
Like-
yeah. They're still at
Like
it.
I understand like, you know, being depressed and upset about a death, but when you work with the same four guys for 50 years, come on, man, this is silly. This is silly,
Silly boy
That's
talk.
What this is. That's what
It
this
is. It could. Like, come on, dude. Like, when you grow up.
Oh gosh. Okay, so that's all I got for Carry On. Do you have anything else on this one?
No, that's it. Round it out with everybody. I love you.
This is a very, very upbeat song. Another song that's reminiscent of the Beatles, especially in the guitar playing. I heard a lot of the like George Harrison style leads in there. Some great bass playing too. It's a great song. It's honestly a great song.
Yeah, I
The
think
bass is probably my favorite part though.
it's a solid rocker. I think it's the perfect closer. It's cool. It's a faster paced, short song. You know, the lead guitar throws down a nice little solo, and I think it's Stills doing background vocals sometimes, where he's like kind of yelling on the like the offbeat thing. I don't like that. I think it's annoying. But other than that, I think the song's
Annoying,
fantastic. I just that guy. Like I don't know what it is about that guy's voice. I just don't. I'm not a fan.
No, I get it. He is a much better guitar player than he is singer. That's for sure.
He is like fantastic at the guitar. Like I would venture off to even say that just based off of what I have now heard and some live stuff that he has done, I like him and I think he's better than Eric Clapton. Straight up.
Maybe.
Straight up.
No, I don't know. That's maybe
Because aside
maybe.
from Tears from Heaven, I don't think Clapton can write a slow song. But even Tears from Heaven, like God, he just churches it up so much. Dude, just relax.
But it's so emotional. Like, fuck, man.
But like, I'm Clapton, so I have to fucking do so many hammer-ons and pull-offs and constantly fucking make a complex song. Like, dude, just chill.
So Everybody I Love or Everybody I Love You. I mean,
Yeah.
unless we want to play it, it's
Yeah, that's right.
It's a pretty straightforward, upbeat jam.
Yeah.
Lyrically, it's just, to me at least, he's talking about he wants his girl to open up to him so he can love her more. That's really like on an emotional, maybe even a sexual level. I don't know, but more on an emotional level. He just wants to get closer with his girl.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
I don't think it's a very deep song musically or lyrically. Much like, well, Our House is kind of a little bit deep, but this one is very face value. Take it face value.
Sure, it's fine. It's a solid closer. It's a good. What B is this for you?
This is my 8-beat.
Yeah, it's a good later B. I think it's out of all of these songs, it's the perfect closer.
All right. So do we have anything else to say about this record? Should we give our final thoughts and our rating?
Yeah, let's close it out.
Okay. So we have our world famous 3-point rating system where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is just the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. So what would you give this album, Deja Vu, from Crosby, Stills, Nash Young? Or what are your final thoughts and your rating? Go.
What do you want to know? Do you want to know what I give it, or do you want my final thoughts and then what I give it? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I did correct myself.
I know,
did
but
say,
I'm confused
Give me
now.
your initial
Okay.
thoughts. Or
My
give me
initial
your
thoughts, or what do you want me to
final
do?
thoughts. Jesus Christ. Give me you're the worst. You know what I'm saying. Go.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying, but
You know what I'm saying. And you can hear what I'm saying.
it's remarkable that my acoustic guitar playing in my personal life for so long has revolved around folk songs, really, by Bob Dylan all the way up until like Chris Carrabba, just anybody with an acoustic guitar. But I don't know why I've never gotten into Neil Young, and I blame that just on no one has told me to be honest. It's just like nobody's favorite artist is Neil Young. I've never heard that before. So
True.
so I wish I would have gotten him more earlier.
Just earlier.
Just
you don't have to
earlier.
say more.
Well, I wish I would have gotten into more, earlier.
Early. Okay.
It came out weird.
Yeah.
So
you said it. Yeah.
So time has passed and whatever. So looking back on it, going into a lot of the Neil Young albums, I will say that I can name off like 4 Neil Young albums that I think are better than this. But this is still really, really good. And I think these are just 4 guys that came together at one time and did something fantastic. But I still think 4-Way Street is better than this. But they did something truly unique, not just in like the songwriting, but I still think the recording of this is just, it's leaps and bounds better than a lot of things that came out of the early 70s. And it was just, I don't know, like a perfect storm, right? Because all these guys they have such big heads, as they should be, because coming from the Birds and Buffalo Springfield at this time is pretty big deal. Pretty big deal stuff. Yeah. Like, it's no joke.
Pretty big deal.
It's pretty big deal stuff. Yes. Yeah. It's PDGG. Yeah. Pretty big deal stuff. Yeah. S with.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
That's tough. So. Right. Cool. I would probably.
You're out of your mind.
I know. I'd probably do like a 2.8. I would do a 2.8
Really?
with this. I do 2.8. Yeah. I'm
Really?
gonna listen. I do listen to this. I'm still in a very heavy like Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young phase. And I'm getting my hands on anything I can from these 4 guys and any of their side projects, much like I do the Grateful Dead. The difference is this stuff is cheap. Like I get their solo records for like $, and they're always in like bins and bulk buys that I get. Whereas the Grateful Dead stuff, I'm paying a lot more. So
yeah, it's because people are still interested in the Grateful Dead. People aren't interested in this anymore.
Well, and to be fair, besides, if you take Neil Young out of the equation, Crosby, Stills, Nash, there's little to no complexity outside of maybe 2 albums, and that's David Crosby for one, and then that's about it actually. So yeah, I love these guys. I think they work really well together musically. I just wish that they could get over their own ego. But who knows? Maybe if they were really good friends, we wouldn't have such a dynamic sounding record like this. I don't know.
So 2.8 for you. So my final thoughts on this, I was blown away by this the first time I heard it. You said you gave this to me, you got it for me. And you said you got to listen to it if you don't like it. Let me know. You don't have to pay for it. It's like $2.
For
like
the people out there, okay.
It's like
you always say for the people out there. I get a lot of really cheap records, and I think that I listen to a lot of them, and I make Tyler listen to them. If you don't like it, you don't have to pay for it. And when I say pay for it, it's like $2 or $3.
It's not like a $30 record. Yeah, it's like a $2 record, maybe.
Or if you buy it in the store, you do get like $10, $15. Okay, guy.
It's true. So I was very just kind of didn't care. Didn't have a lot of what am I trying to say? A lot of expectations for this.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. The first time I heard it, I was blown away, and I loved it. And I've listened to it many times since. But much like you, Neil Young did it better. He was the best part of this group. I have not listened to other stuff outside of this because I'm scared. I'm scared to listen to the other stuff, but especially without Neil Young. But with that being said, we touched upon so much of it. The stylings, the production, just how everyone worked together on this was just so fucking great. So with that, I'm gonna have to give this, with our rating system, I'll have to give this a 2.8 as well. It's not perfect because there should be more Neil Young. I feel like Neil Young should have been a higher priority on this one. He should have done a little bit more, but I also understand it's not really his band. He came in last. He came in late. Damn, dude.
I know, he's the best part of this band that he didn't start.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
It's incredible. It is.
And Graham Nash is just so underwhelming in so many ways.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got on this one. My, final thoughts and rating. But you got anything else to say?
That's it. That's all.
Okay, so thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And thanks for listening. And that's it. That's all.
Good, Nash.
I would never say that you're right and I'm wrong. I would never say that to you. I've said that to other people, but I would never say that to you.
But I never realized that they don't switch off as much as I thought they would on a Crosby, Stills, Nash Young album. No.